Gen Z and millennials need to start having more kids.
Why do you think?
No! How come you're all lonely with no kids?
Because nobody can afford anything nowadays.
Instead of complaining, how about you apply that energy to a job?
I mean, people can't afford food, let alone shelter. Do you know how high rent is?
So you're saying even with the job, you can't afford any of that? That's a lie, because some of you do have
And
apartments.
the people that are paying it are struggling, so most Gen Z and millennials are opting to live with their parents.
I had a house at the age of 25. So how was I able to buy a house, but you can't?
Because when you were our age, you bought your house for 3 grapes and a carrot.
No!
It doesn't cost that no more.
See, your generation doesn't know the concept of hard work. None of you want to work. You're all just lazy.
Why does Gen Z not want to have kids? Is it that hard for boomers to grasp? Yeah, there's been a lot of talk of the town and rumors going around and whatnot, speculation. Maybe it be true. Who knows what it could be, what it can't be. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's all a lie. Maybe it's the government trying to gaslight you into having kids. Who knows? We just know the government tries to move like Eisen from Bleach. And we just know that Gen Z isn't having kids anymore. We know fertility rates have been dropping for a while. I mean, one good example is South Korea. Look what happened to them. They're facing population collapse. 0.72 kids per woman. They're basically cooked. And from what the graphs are looking like, America might be next, man. We might be cooked. I mean, we already are cooked, so we might be further cooked. Well done at this point.
Know the concept of hard work. None of you want to work. You're all just lazy.
Well, who would want to work in a job in a market so no matter how many hours you put in, you still can't afford a home?
That doesn't give you guys the right to be entitled at your job. You guys are always ranting online about billionaire corporations.
I understand that, but I think everybody's getting angry for a reason. They've been treated horribly, and the answer to being poor is to force them to have kids to make them more poor?
Yeah! It's clear you're not going to change, so we need to ban abortion because God wouldn't want that.
So all of a sudden it's godly talk. Why don't we talk about the economy? Why don't we keep the conversation there?
God would fix all of your generation's problems. All you have to do is believe.
I'll tell you what, instead of all these antics, if you just focused on lowering the cost of housing and rent and put strong regulations against that.
That's a logical response, but since you're too poor to have kids, we'll just change the laws to make you have that. Good luck.
What's the real reason behind that? Really? You know, a little birdie told me, word through the grapevine is, it's just financially expensive, not cost effective. Some people are just not mentally prepared to have kids. And some people just don't want to bring their kids into this world because of how, you know, the world is going right now. All these are valid reasons, obviously. And honestly, bro, it's not rocket science. Maybe to boomers, it might be rocket science because back in their days, they had like 10, 12, 15 kids per household. And they were able to still survive off one paycheck and have a nice car, have a house and everything. They think it's still 1960 or some shit. One of the main reasons why people don't want to have kids is because it's financially crippling. And as far as I've seen, Gen Z has not been having kids at an alarming rate. Right now, as of 2025, only 16% of Gen Zers have kids. Only 10% of Gen Zers are married. And only about 50% of Gen Zers are entering the workforce. So you have this generation that's lost, basically. Like, they don't know what stage of life they're at. You got some people having kids. Obviously, you guys are probably around my age as well. I'm 25. So in your 20s, bro, it's a weird-ass time. You got people having kids on accident. I doubt it's on purpose. I don't know why you would want to have a kid in this economic climate. But, hey, if you're balling like that, more power to you, bro. But yeah, a lot of people don't want to have kids for that reason. And like I said, 20s is a weird age. You got people who have kids. You got people who are unemployed. You know, that one unemployed friend at like 3 a.m. smoking a joint in the fucking mountains and shit. They're just in the most random place, bro. So you have that. You have people that are still in school or just now starting school or just now finishing school. You got people that are single moms, single dads, whatever the case may be. And you just got people that never went to school, either doing trade or they're just working full time, maybe working multiple jobs, 2, 3 jobs. It's just everywhere, man. Like in your 20s, it's a really confusing time. Everyone's doing their own thing. Some people don't even know what they want to do. But that's besides the point, right? It's just funny at whatever stage of life you are in your 20s, the general consensus is Gen Z doesn't want to have kids. It doesn't matter if you're financially stable, financially unemployed. Doesn't matter what it is. The general consensus between Gen Z and even millennials is that they don't want to have kids and they don't want to bring children into this world.
Gen Z is not trying to have kids. And I don't blame them. Because I ain't trying to have them little shits either. But the government is shaking in their boots because we don't want children. Our grandparents and parents are shaking in their boots because we don't want children. They keep asking why. I'm going to tell you. Probably because we can't afford to. Y'all do know the cost of living went up 68%, but our wages only went up 18%. Y'all do know that, right? We don't even know if we're going to have a suitable earth to raise our kids in the next 40 years. And you want me to bring a child into this world? And I'm not saying all of Gen Z, because some of y'all took the risk. Me, personally, and the vast majority of the people I know, they're not even thinking about it.
Right now in 2025, it takes $310,000 for you to raise a child from childbearing age to the age of 18. That's $22,000 annually. Right now, the median income I think is like 55 to 60,000. Now mine is $22,000 annually from that paycheck. You're basically poor, bro. Like, you're basically homeless. For real. Like, you might as well be homeless if you have a kid. $310,000, like, that's damn near a house. Or, my bad, not anymore, because houses cost an arm and a leg these days. But, bro, you're paying a lot of money to raise a kid and bring them into this world. And especially when you're bringing into this world with the economic climate right now, for you to afford formula, make sure they go to a good school, make sure you're living in a proper neighborhood, all of that is just out the window because shit is so expensive. Daycare, you know how much people make in daycare? Let's say you're a single mother, single father, or both of you guys work, you got to put your child in daycare. You know how much that is? It says that people spend annually about 16% of their income on daycare alone. And it says anywhere from $5,000 to $16,000 annually on daycare. Daycare is expensive, bro. That's a big business, like big pharma. They are making money off of you with daycare. So you have all of these going on in the background, daycare, you got to, baby formula, whatever the case may be, all this to raise your child takes $310,000. Now imagine that. Imagine paying for a house. Imagine paying for your car note. Imagine paying for insurance. And imagine paying for all the other bills you have to do plus credit card. You're not doing all that. On one income alone, definitely not possible unless you're making big buku bucks, right? So that's one of the main reasons why people aren't having kids, and it's not really surprising.
Not even trying to consider it. How are we going to have children if we can't even afford ourselves? I know people that's so backed up on student loans, they just don't want to pay for that shit no more. And since the government is getting so upset about it, my honest take is the government only wants us to have children so we can go back and ask the government for help. The help that they're not even going to give us. The help that they're going to claim that they don't have. But they had billions of dollars to fund the war in Israel, though. They had billions of dollars to bring migrants across country. But our healthcare system and our school system is still fucked. Gen Z is the most unhinged, most honest, most I don't give a fuck generation there is. So if you think Gen Z is going to fall for we need to have kids to better our population, you're smoking! Because it's not happening. Everybody keep asking us what we gonna do when we get older. Who knows? Who knows if we're even gonna get older? I might just off myself before I even get that old, to be honest with you. And if I don't have kids, my money will take care of me. That's the least it can do. I hope it's gonna be worth anything by the time I get that old. I actually hope there's just gonna be earth by the time I get that old because, goddamn.
So there's been talk about the government apparently being scared of why Gen Z is not having kids. With that being said, I was looking into the effects of not having children, and it's really concerning. People have been having talks about population declining and the effects and what can happen and whatnot, and it's not looking promising. I mean, you have a generation of people, Gen Zers not having kids. They don't even call us Zoomers anymore; they call us Doomers because of how how bad everything is, man. I mean, what other terminology can you give us? Can you really blame us about being doomers? I mean, look at the outlook of how everything is. I mean, you got women over here Fertility rates are dropping. Fertility rates have been on the decline. From 1960, it used to be 3.5 kids per woman. Like, I'm telling you, in 1960, back then, people were having about 3 kids, right? 3.5 kids per woman. That's a lot of kids to have back then. Well, not in terms of nowadays, that's a lot of kids to have back then. You having 1 kid now, you're cooked. You're broke, bro. You might as well tell bro to get back in the womb. Dead ass, because shit is so expensive, right? It takes $310,000 to raise a child. Back in 1960, it used to be 3.5 kids per woman. Now in 2025, it is 1.62 kids per woman, right? So fertility rates have dropped down extremely low over the years. But now you're telling me the fertility rates, if a woman is to have or be expected to have a kid, you're only having at least one kid, 1.5 kids maybe. Who knows, right? Where's the other half at? I don't know. Maybe the legs just came out. They forgot the head, right? But it's so crazy to me because now you have this generation that's not popping kids out, and now you got to start thinking about population decline, right? It's not going to get any better. From 2022 it was 1.66, right? Now it's 1.62 in 2025, so it's only declining further. So imagine, a few more years from now, a decade from now, it might even just be one woman to one child ratio, or even less than that. So what tends to happen when fertility rates drop down and the birth rates start declining? You have problems with filling in positions. You have issues with infrastructure. You have economic problems, and it's not looking good, right?
I love an author who gets us. Alicia, you're an icon. While the economy isn't the only reason that people don't want kids, it is a big one. And we're almost at the point now where all of the people who are under 50 who don't currently have children, almost half of them say they never want children. And at the end of the day, this is just a result of unchecked capitalism. We have companies raising prices and not raising salaries, destroying the environment while they're doing so, charging young people hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school in order to get that job, not providing any meaningful parental leave or support, and then they have the gall to be like, why aren't these people having kids?
A lot of boomers expect you to have kids, or maybe some of your relatives, maybe your grandma, your grandpa, or whoever else is, boomer age. They always ask you this question like, oh, when are you going to get married? Oh, when are you going to bring home a granddaughter? Oh, when are you going to bring home a grandson? When are you going to bring home a girlfriend, or something like that, right? But they're not really in tune with like how the economy is and how expensive shit actually really be. Like, it's not the fact that I don't want to have grandchildren, right? No one wants to have a kid and be in more debt. It's just a lot of variables that go into even having a kid. And one of the major ones is, being economically stable enough to raise a child in this world. Whatever the case may be, where the government's scared that we're not having kids, or why your grandparents think it's weird for you not to have kids, or any older folks think it's weird not for us to have kids. It's really not that far-fetched. I mean, again, being financially stable is one of the biggest reasons why Gen Zers aren't having kids. You can tell by how shit is ran in the government, obviously. A lot of these older boomer folks, they're not really in tune with the younger generation. And these are the people that run the country. So if these type of people are running the country, all right, and they're wondering, walking around, wah, 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 and they're wondering why Gen Zers aren't having kids, it's just a whole disaster, right? You got a recipe for disaster there. You got an older generation that grew up in 1960, or god damn, that's crazy to say nowadays, mid 1900s. They were just given everything on you're talking about people that were given everything on a silver platter, basically. They lived in a time where they could have 3.5 kids per household and still be fine. Now you're dealing with a generation that's been consistently told to do step by step these things, go to school, do this, do that, have kids at this age. And now we're this age and we don't have kids. We don't have kids. And the ones that do have kids are financially struggling, bro. They're financially struggling. Not every single one of them, but most of them are. Most of Gen Z is struggling without a kid.
Hey, Gen Z, younger millennials, government here. Why aren't y'all having any babies? Yeah, I don't know. Probably because I'm 26 and I don't even know if the fucking earth will be habitable for me by the time I'm 40. I work and 80% of my income goes to rent. The rest go to food. Maybe because if I have that bitch, it'll die. Probably because I can't feed it or me. Is that it? Who gonna take care of you when you get old then?
They keep asking us what we gonna do when we get older.
Who's gonna take care of you when you're old? I don't know. Probably an AI android with a voice just different enough from Scarlett Johansson's for it to be legal.
And the main thing that I noticed from all these videos is, why is everyone asking us, what are we going to do when we get older? Who's going to take care of us? Who's going to take care of us? Ourselves? What you mean, bro? By the time we get to like retirement age, damn near Social Security is not going to exist. Who is there? What you mean, who's going to take care of us? We got to. We have no choice. We got no choice. Literally have no choice, bro. We have no choice but to keep working. Money, like, we got no choice. What you mean? And if we have no choice, what do you mean who's going to take care of us? If we got kids and our economy is doing this bad right now, what makes you think our kids can take care of us? What makes you think we can take care of our kids? It's not clicking. It doesn't click to these boomers, bro. They're just walking around on Earth like some fucking NPCs. Like, they don't know what's going on. They're walking around on Earth, roaming the Earth dangerously, like living dangerous. They don't know what's going on. Look at Biden. Bro doesn't even know where he's at. Niggas just walking around. He don't even be reading the teleprompter, bro. Look at Trump. Trump don't give a fuck about the younger generation. He don't care. He just care about making his billionaires' friends even richer. I mean, look at the S&P 500. They don't care about this shit, bro. You think they care? When has the government ever cared about us? When have they cared about... Let's sit here and think about this for a second, right? Why is the government so concerned, apparently, quote unquote? And yes, this could be speculation, this could be rumors, whatever, but this is my theory. Why does the government all of a sudden care if we're having kids or not? Why? Isn't that weird? Why do they care if we're not having kids? Because we're not spawning more humans for them to farm. Think about it. It sounds wild, right? I know it sounds crazy, but think about it. We're not spawning more humans for them to farm. The farming method is being patched right in front of their eyes. It's being patched. Patch notes updated. They can't farm any more humans, bro. They're cooked. And when I say that, I'm talking about economic wise, for the economy, right? They're cooked, basically. You're not spawning in more humans to join the workforce, to replace these workers. You're not spawning more humans in to keep the current flow of economy going. That's the only thing they care about. They care about that spending. They care about their money on. They don't care about us. They don't care if we're having kids or not. Like, genuinely or for real. They just want more money. They want more. They want this pyramid scheme of an economy to keep going. They want this capitalistic society to keep going. Because, believe it or not, we're the ones that keep this shit running. If you didn't realize that before, we're the ones that keep this shit running. The working class keeps this shit running for the millionaires and millionaires. If we're gone, they're cooked. Like, who else is going to work for them? Who else is going to do certain things for them? So I don't want to leave on too of a depressing note from this video, right? My solutions could be a little bit wonky, but maybe raising wages for once. I mean, bro, damn near 10 plus years, 20 years, wages have been stagnant for a while now. Maybe raise some wages if that's possible. Maybe passing some sort of law where you could raise wages, but also have companies not raise prices as well. I don't know if that's doable. I don't know if that's possible, but hey, let me know in the comments if you think it is. Because from what I heard, if you raise wages, inflation's just going to get worse, apparently. Maybe if you guys have any other solutions, you could comment down below. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video. At this time making the video, I'm at at 1.8K subs. So thank you guys for subscribing and supporting me. We're almost there, road to 2K. So yeah, appreciate y'all guys, and that's pretty much all I'm talking about. So peace.